Welcome, one and all, to the InfoHazard podcast show. I am your host, David. I'm also here with my good friends, Phil and Danny.
What's up?
Hey.
So, Phil, InfoHazard, what's up with the name?
Okay. So, basically, I got the idea when I heard this story about this, crazy shootout that happened on the Canadian border. There's these people, and they're involved in a cult, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're called the Zizians. They're rationalists, which is, super long Harry Potter fan fiction story short.
Yeah. So, Canadian cult Harry Potter shootout, that sounds like rationalists to me.
Yeah. Okay. So, the rational part is, there's this book, right? It's like a Harry Potter fan fiction called Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality. It's basically the first Harry Potter book if Harry behaved, quote unquote, rationally. Not important. Don't worry. Basically, it's like a philosophy course in the world of Harry Potter. And the philosophy that these people share is rationalism. So within the rationalist community, there's a belief that there's eventually going to be a super powerful AI.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, so we're named after an AI Harry Potter cult fan fiction?
Okay. Yeah, so not exactly, but it's kind of involved. This is how I found out about the idea of an infohazard. It's okay. So the infohazard that they talk about in the rationalist kind of community is the idea that there's a super powerful AI that will eventually be invented, and that AI will punish anyone who knew it would be invented but didn't do everything in their power to help it be invented. So it's an infohazard because it's information or data that poses a risk to an individual when they learn about it or access it or spread it, and
so once you
just
know,
knowing it causes you harm.
So once you know that this AI is going to be invented, then you are harmed by that knowledge because now you have
suddenly you're on the hook. You knew and you did nothing. You could have invented a GUI or a macro or something that could have made the AI come sooner. No, you worked at Dairy Queen. So I'm gonna torture you for infinity because of reasons. So I don't personally believe this is gonna happen, but I do like the idea that there's information out there that you could stumble across, and then your life would be just worse because of it.
Any examples of that ringing to you, Danny?
Well, so I sometimes think that following the news can be sort of an info hazard because the more you news you consume, it can make you feel depressed and maybe hostile towards people who disagree with you since you're being propagandized to. But we're here to tell you it doesn't have to be that way. We are going to try and bring you, the fun side of politics. A sort of informational condom for you to protect you from the bad parts and let the fun parts through.
Okay, so we're a condom. Who gets to be the reservoir tip? Is it you, David?
Well, I'm Jewish, so the tip might be leaky.
Oops.
Or alternatively, there's more room there for the reservoir.
There you go.
And you know what? I did always say that you're full of hot air. So.
Cool.
Oh, why is it hot? Never mind.
It's warm. It's warm. Another info hazard I thought of is knowing the odds. I think sometimes when you know the odds...
Say more.
Sometimes when you know the odds, you don't take a shot. And, of course, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so taking a shot actually can improve your odds. And so I didn't look up what are the odds of starting a successful podcast. But we will be successful. So
Yeah,
despite
100%.
the
You don't
odds.
need to look them up.
Exactly.
And no one's
yeah.
even looked into it, so like there's no experience out there.
There's no
so
possible way
I think
of
we're
knowing.
basically 100% to be successful.
That's
Wait,
right.
damn it! Oh, sorry. I just told you the odds.
Wait. Okay.
Oh,
All right. You're ruining
fucked
the
up.
point, man.
I fucked up.
But yeah, I think that for news and politics, I think we've been undergoing big changes, and some of them make sense, some of them not. But I think that we're not going to. I don't think we should go back to the way things were. I think that we've accepted a bunch of excuses from our politicians for too long, and I think that we have a great opportunity in this country to move things forward. And so, the old lines, the media has tried to turn us into enemies. Propaganda turns us into enemies. I've even forgotten how to say the word enemies.
Yeah. Thanks, Obama.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Are we still doing that, by the way? Am I just like super old? I don't know. It's fine.
I was never doing that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that I want to approach the news just with curiosity, common sense, and the belief that we can make great things happen and have some fun.
Me too.
Yay!
All that.
So Phil,
What's up?
yeah, that's it. So if that sounds good to you, listeners, stick around. And cool. Phil, care to tell us about your week, some?
My week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got. What did I do this week? I got an email from my kid's school. They're installing vape detectors. Apparently, like, there are like sensors that can tell if someone's vaping in the room.
This is not your 4-year-old, right?
No, thankfully no. This is the middle schooling. I didn't know that they had these sort of things, and
That's insane.
just yeah, and like
Is that like different than a smoke detector, I guess?
I guess they
Just
say
like
they can detect marijuana and vape juice, and like they're trying to like use those to disincentivize kids from doing it rather than like get kids in trouble. But
But disincentive.
imagine.
What is the incentive other than being in trouble?
It's like the same logic as like any sort of police measure, right? You just like it's like, well, yeah, the penalty for this is going to jail forever, so that'll show you not to jaywalk, so no one will jaywalk anymore because of this. I
Yep.
don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll work.
it's like sounds good on the one hand because you don't want your middle schoolers to be vaping, but also, come on, where's the fun? Just taking the fun out of everything. Like if you can't
Yeah.
like act up in middle school, like
I mean, you can
Like,
still
event-
vape, it just can't be in the bathroom.
Yeah.
you have to do it in class.
Yeah, just chiefing juicy cotton right in the teacher's face. But what about you, man? What's going on with you, David?
I've been doing some stand up. I had a fun open mic this week. This place was in the back of a 7-Eleven at like 9 p.m., which is like way past my bedtime. So that took a lot. It was fun, and I was unlike most open mics. Like everybody was funny. It was like what?
What do you mean it was like behind a 7-Eleven? Like you had to like enter through the 7-Eleven and then like into the back room, or like
No, it wasn't in the 7-Eleven. It was in like a strip mall, I guess. Or strip mall is like a generous word. It was like a very small strip mall, but they had more businesses than you would think could fit into that strip mall. And one of them that kind of looked like they had just like taken two businesses and put like a I don't know, particle board in between them, was a little comedy place, and they just like run open mics there all the time. Tons of fun. And yeah, I mean, just in case like you didn't think the comedy scene was saturated enough, just like all day, every day, open mics, packed. 9 p.m. on a Tuesday, like packed and funny. So yeah, I go to some open mics. Like
Good shit.
I feel like people are practicing. They're like trying to bomb, or they're just like, I want the experience of performing with zero preparation, like including no idea what I'm going to talk about. Like that seems to be the approach at some open mics. But
This is good. This is a good way to start off your comedy career. Just taking shots at the regulars that are open micing with you.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, I don't think they would object to this description. It's like, you definitely see it. So yeah, that was fun doing stand up. I'm gonna be performing in a couple days.
Now, Danny, talk. Go.
Yeah. So we finally had like a nice day, like the first one in like weeks. So I went out to the park, and we're sitting at the park, and suddenly this guy just blasts into the grass in his pickup truck and starts like doing donuts, like holding his hand out with his phone, like filming himself.
Nice.
Like if anybody had been sitting there, he definitely would have killed them. But luckily there was no one in that particular part, because he just like drove up there. And then I happened to see on the Portland subreddit that like somebody posted like, why hasn't this guy been arrested? And it was the exact same guy doing like something else insanely dangerous. And it turns out he's just constantly like live on Instagram, like filming himself, like doing the most like dangerous and like insane shit, like stopping in the middle of the freeway and getting out and dancing, or just like blasting on the like shoulder. And just like, he's been reported a ton of times. Like his license plate is clearly visible, and like he's never been like in any trouble, because the police here don't really do traffic enforcement anymore, because they had a big case where they weren't allowed to just beat protesters for no reason. And ever since then, they've been like sort of like on a soft strike, trying to like, you know, not really do any work.
Oh, interesting. It's like a police like union thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really a labor issue if you think about it. The quiet quitting epidemic is hit everyone.
I feel like maybe they should fire them. I don't like if police don't, you know. I mean, a traffic offense, sure. Like, I don't know, doing donuts in the middle of a park is, I guess, a traffic offense.
If it's not, it certainly should be.
Yeah. A guy got out of his car on the freeway in front of me one time and wanted to fight.
He wanted to fight you?
Yeah, I guess he thought I had cut him off. I don't, whatever.
But if he was in front of you, how'd you cut him off?
Oh, he rocketed in front of me, slammed on the brakes to try to get me to rear end him, and then he got out of the car. Rush hour traffic. I mean, like, well, not. It was like there was lots of traffic. It wasn't stopped. Like, this was dangerous. He could have died. Yeah. Anyway, that was in Washington. There's something about the Pacific Northwest, man. People are ridiculous, insane drivers.
I think it's our high quality meth.
Cool, man. Yeah, someone should do something about it. Maybe you, Danny. Vigilante justice.
There we go.
You got time on your hands.
Yeah. How's your like Batman costume coming along?
Not so good.
Oh, okay.
Batman's rich, and I'm not rich, so.
Yeah, I forgot about his superpower. So that's enough of that. That's enough faffing about. Let's get down to brass tacks. You got a story for us today, Danny. Like,
yeah.
What's been on your mind?
Well, you know, I mean, this week, obviously, in a show called Infohazard, we got to talk about the Signal group chat fiasco, since that was some hazardous information there.
Yeah, being told classified information could be hazardous because it's illegal to be spreading classified information, isn't it?
Well, you know, it turns out there's some debate about that.
Yeah.
Go on.
So it got released that this Atlantic editor was accidentally added to this group chat because the National Security Advisor Tim Waltz had him as one of his contacts, though he later denied knowing him. And so first they were like, there was no classified information. Like Tulsi Gabbard went in front of Congress and was, there is no classified information. She specifically said there's no like war plans or anything. And then of course, he released the actual transcripts where of course all of this was like proven false. It turns out, they blew up this whole building because one guy was a Houthi missile commander, supposedly was there visiting his girlfriend. It's full of emojis and it also revealed that like J.D. Vance like really was not in favor of it because he feels that it would help Europe more than it would help us, and he thinks of Europe as freeloaders. But to me, the like funniest part about this is like the defenses that get put up for it. So Trump, said he would never fire anybody because they looked into it, and this is something that can happen.
That's a good point. It is something that can happen. Can't argue with that.
I mean, it's something that did happen, so clearly it's something that can happen. So he also said that the reporter was a sleazebag, and he found the group chat boring, and that's why he left early.
Sorry, that's why Donald Trump left the chat early?
Trump said that's why the Atlantic editor left the group chat, was because he found it very boring. And so he left the group chat.
I mean, Trump is funny, right? You gotta give him that. That's some surrealist comedy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then so the national security spokesperson said that the thread was a demonstration of deep and thoughtful policy coordination between senior officials, and said that basically no harm, no foul. Like nobody got, none of our troops got killed because of it, so no problem. Yep.
Yeah, I think like it's like a good like rule of thumb of extremism to like take something kind of normal and then just to like go way too far with it. So it's just like, yeah, none of our soldiers were killed, and that's good, and that makes it so this whole thing is less damaging than it would have been if our soldiers had been killed because of it. That does not mean that there was nothing here. It's like no, there is still something, man. When Hegseth, when he got off that plane and had that interview, he attacked the Atlantic editor.
Yep.
Which is good, a good propaganda move. And then I thought it was actually very clever where he's like, I didn't text war plans, because now it's like, okay, what is a war plan? The debate's all just like, sure, it's like a list of like weapons and times and places, but like that's not a war plan. Like that's like one little operation kind of.
Yeah, it's just an operational plan, not a war plan.
Yep, exactly, and they can just debate that one.
Yeah, and so Goldberg's defense to this was.
Am I back, by the way?
Yeah.
You're back.
Okay. Yeah, we're doing it now, so it kind of worked, right? I guess we could just move on then. We didn't play into that sort of nonsense.
Yeah. And so Goldberg's defense to being accused of a sleazebag and a registered Democrat was, if I'm such a nefarious character, why am I in Mike Waltz's phone? Why does he have my phone number? Why is he including me in this chat? And what do you expect a reporter to do when you learn interesting information about the way an administration is contemplating military action? What do they think is really going to happen? And then here's my absolute favorite defense, which is Mike Johnson, the Speaker for the House, said, I think it would be a terrible mistake for there to be adverse consequences on any of the people that were involved in the call. They were trying to do a good job.
That's probably true. I think they were trying to do a good job.
That is a great defense too, because you can apply that to every situation.
It's
Well,
just like something that can happen, right? This is something that can happen.
El
Right, they're
Chapo, you know,
incompetent. They will,
he
they
was
weren't
trying
being
to do a
malicious.
good job.
Right, like in this instance, they weren't being malicious. They're usually malicious, but here they were just incompetent. So it would be a mistake to for there to be consequences. Yeah, yeah, and I guess there won't be probably, right? Or this would just have to be, American people delivering the consequences, I
Yeah.
suppose, since Congress won't.
Nope.
Maybe they'll be sued.
They've been sued actually. There's like two different lawsuits going on about it. One is for like record keeping, and I
Right,
forget what the other one
delete
is.
records.
Yep.
I think it should be reciprocal, like eye for an eye. You got to bomb the Houthi rebels, so the rebels should get to bomb you back. Even it out.
Good idea, Phil. You should definitely take that. Send that one to your senator.
Yeah, I'll text Pete. Let him know.
Yeah, I mean, now that you've done this podcast, you're similar. You have similar, and with sterling advice like that, you have similar qualifications to be Secretary of Defense.
Well, I was trying to do a good job.
Yeah.
So,
It's something that can happen.
Man, so Europe is a bunch of freeloaders. That's an interesting point of view. Like I was thinking, like when like all of NATO came to Iraq, sent their soldiers to die in Iraq on our like little misadventure there. That really felt like freeloading to me. And like in Europe, just like England. All the sacrifices that they made during World War II, allowing the U.S. to become the leading superpower in the world. England and France and every other European country, Poland. That it seems like a bunch of freeloading to me. It's only Americans that do anything ever, right? We can all agree
Well,
on that.
to be fair to him, I do think he has sort of like the germ of a point here, which is that like, obviously the US spends way more on their military than like any European country.
Yeah.
And consequently, they do kind of seem to rely on the United States to like defend them against, Russia and such. And they're now learning why that's not such a good idea because we're, looking a little unreliable.
and like, could you imagine, like how bad things would be if we had free healthcare and not as big of a military? Like, that would be a nightmare. We don't want to be like Europe in that way, do we?
Yeah, this was kind of like the deal, though, right? I mean, it's not that like they all decided or that they didn't want to do it, and so we just did it. It was like the U.S. was like exultant at the end of the World War, and I don't know. We didn't want nuclear weapons to spread, right? So stuff like that. So now everyone's just going to get their own nukes because the U.S. can't be trusted to defend our allies. Like there are reasonable, like there's a decent case. I mean, and all the money they spend, they spend buying American planes, like propping up our industry, and it's not a cheap thing to have fifth generation aircraft, all in aircraft carriers and all this stuff. So I don't know. There's some decent arguments to go the other way too.
Yeah,
Or,
I think that clearly, like, this is something the U.S. benefits like massively from, like being, sort of the monopole in the unipolar world. Because, like, to some extent, like, what the U.S. says goes. It's just up to this point we've been sort of like subtle about it, and we mostly wanted the same things as Europe, so they kind of were happy to go along with it.
Yep. Better luck next time. Maybe we'll get a new world order after the next World War. Cool. Well, thanks for sharing that sunny news.
Yep.
So, what do we think? Does anyone get fired for this?
Not a chance.
No way.
Is it already going away?
No, I think it's kind of too funny for people to stop talking about. Like, of all of the shows of incompetence, this one has like the most emojis. So like it's gonna be like sticking around for a while. I think.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, Hillary's emails only stuck around for like how many years?
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite reactions. A little clip from Hillary Clinton. You've got to be fucking kidding me. like,
Wait, really? Like that she was
I
recorded.
think you got to be
saying-
kidding me. Was
It was a tweet, actually. I think
okay.
she
Okay.
just tweeted that like right after this broke, basically.
Yeah,
Yep.
but the
Yeah, there's some double
emails.
standards.
Just some classic hypocrisy and incompetence that will just be dismissed and hand waved away. It's something that can happen, so they were trying.
Yeah. Pretty weak. Pretty weak. Yeah. Also, a little bit disturbing the whole like not investigating. Like I don't know. Like the Department of Justice is supposed to investigate things that look like obvious like crime, and there are a lot of laws that are obviously whatever the mishandling of classified information. Seems like the kind of thing that they would investigate. But no, they don't do that. Only investigate the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty gross.
Yeah, that's something we've lost. Maybe you could debate to what degree we had it before, but the 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 prosecution is incredibly partisan now. This is never going to be used against any sort of like right wing ally while Donald Trump is in the presidency.
So I was at one point looking up, like, I was looking for what, like, intelligence blunders in the past. Like, I was like looking for anything as dumb as this. Because this is pretty dumb, just like using this app that's just like obviously not. They just like don't have any idea what like security is. Right? Anyway, I couldn't find anything, but I found something kind of funny, and it was the Acoustic Kitty CIA project, where they surgically implanted microphone inside a cat, and they were trying to train the cat to go like stand at a park
Okay.
bench next to like.
Okay. Wait. Okay. I think this requires some context. A little bit. Like, why a cat? What? Where was the
Because
cat going?
you would never suspect that a cat had been trained.
It's just dumb enough
So
to work.
crazy. I think it's so crazy it just might work.
Okay.
I think that probably the people who came up with this were like the test subjects in the CIA LSD experiments or something. They're like, let's train a cat, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, holding a reefer apparently.
Yeah. This is Kaczynski before he went off into the woods.
Right. Yeah. So, the legend has it that that the cat they'd done it all. They would trained the cat and everything, and that he was like going to go spy on the actual target, and it just got hit by a car and killed. I think that one might not be true though, but that's definitely fun. Whatever. Think the real story is just that it didn't work because training cats is a giant waste of time.
Yeah, the other intelligence blunders that jump to mind for me is
Can I
back in the cold.
can I go back
go for
to
it.
that though? Like, why didn't they use a dog? You can train dogs. You can't. You can't really train
Yeah.
cats.
Because
think-
they'd suspect a dog. Immediately you see a dog next to you, you're like, that must be a CIA trained spy dog. But like a cat, nobody would. Cats are untrainable, so it couldn't be a CIA spy cat.
These are the Soviets they're spying on, right? They should have picked something that they'd feel comfortable with, like a bear, or like a bottle of vodka, or something.
Yeah. Danny, you had some other good intelligence blunders.
Yeah, so back in the Cold War, the U.S. Embassy was presented with a Great Seal of the United States by some Soviet school children, which they then hung up in the embassy, and it turns out it had a mic inside, and they left it there for many years and discussed like a lot of sensitive information. And there was at one point they had a mole in the FBI, and so they could tell that information was getting leaked out of the FBI, and so they put this guy in charge named Robert Hansen, who he was supposed to investigate and find the mole. And the problem was that he was the mole that he was supposed to be looking for, and somehow he was unable to find him for
How long? For like 10 years?
More than 20 years, 1979 to 2001.
Damn.
Just excellent work. High fives all around.
The Soviet Union going away and being replaced by Russian Federation, no impact, just sort of like change of employer.
Yeah, he still kept working for them, I guess. Sold about 6,000 classified documents.
So
nice.
so he survived through the fall of the Soviet Union.
Yep.
So does that mean like technically for like a month or so, like his bosses went from being Russian to being Kazakhstani? Because they were like the only members of the Soviet Union left after the Soviet Union fell.
I mean, I would guess that like probably the same KGB people kept on working as like spies.
Yeah, probably still Russian. Oh well. It'd be funny to switch countries though, just briefly. Like Kazakhstan's the only one left. It's like I guess we're the boss right now.
Huh. The other interesting one that I read about, I mean, I already knew about this one, was the Zimmerman letter, I guess, or the Zimmerman telegram or something that the Nazis sent to Mexico during World War II before the U.S. had joined, and just like, hey, Mexico, you should go attack the U.S. Want to join our team? Mexico had no interest, and the U.S. intercepted it and was just like, maybe we should get into the war. Kind of counterproductive.
Also, Hansen ended up getting caught because the FBI paid $7 million to a KGB agent for a file about the mole, and it didn't have his name, but it had a transcript of a conversation in which he used a patent quote about purple pissing Japanese, which a FBI analyst remembered Hansen as using, and so then they started surveilling Hansen and caught him relatively soon after that.
There you go.
God
Wait,
damn.
what? Sorry.
It's like having
Pissing-
a catchphrase is illegal these days.
It's definitely dangerous if you're a spy, at least.
Yeah, that one is pretty. That stands out. Right? So he was saying that the Japanese piss the color purple. Is that
Apparently.
okay? Just making sure. That explains the fancy toilets.
I guess so. And it's maybe like an uplifting note to end on. This is like if your racism leads you into this sort of specifics, karma's gonna get you. Being incredibly unpopular with the majority of the population hasn't stopped him from getting elected twice, so why not a third time? Because recently, Trump indicated that he is looking into ways to serve a third term as president.
Seems like there's only one way to do that. Amend the Constitution.
Actually,
Sex change.
it's actually not true. Technically, he could get elected to the House of Representatives and be then the Speaker for the House, and then the President and Vice President who were elected could resign, and then he would get promoted to the presidency again.
So yeah, I was actually wondering about that. I kind of assumed that you just like couldn't be anywhere in like if you had already been president twice, you wouldn't be allowed anywhere in the chain of whatever backups. Is that
Apparently not. It just like the 22nd Amendment, I think, just says you can't be elected or like can't stand for election.
I guess that's right. You wouldn't be elected. You would be in the position by default. You would like go down the line of succession, like a king, you could say.
I hope he does it this way. Like if he says he's looking into it, and yeah, like all the I think immediately fear, stress triggered in all Democrats or whatever left-leaning people who are anti-authoritarians, and they're like, oh God, he's just going to do away with the Constitution. Or it's like, yeah, there's no way that they're actually going to get a constitutional amendment passed. If that was possible, then we probably would have gotten rid of the Electoral College 200 years ago. But no, I really hope that the plan is become Speaker of the House, and then
I just hope they try to do this, and whoever he sets up to resign just doesn't do it, and they just leave him as the Speaker for the House.
The temptation must be incredible if you're the one who gets elected president, and it's like what are they gonna do? Impeach you? Like Trump got impeached how many times? Like it doesn't mean anything. So
even just
you're just president now.
I would just love to see people try to put that plan into action. That just sounds like a lot of fun to watch.
Just you're campaigning as like president. My first act will be to immediately resign. Vote for me.
Do you remember when what was his name? The governor of California,
Gray Davis.
Gray Davis. I think there was like this recall election, and like his vice governor, they were like, vote no on the recall, but yes on me, right? Like that of course was not crazy, and like is exactly what the Democrats kind of were asking their voters to do, and like what made sense. But like, yeah, this is just like that times like 2 or 3, kind of like vote for Marco Rubio for president and me for House member from Florida.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think like the number one thing that the Republican base can count on is like completing a complicated strategy. I think that's their strong suit.
That relies on being unselfish and working together well.
But you know, this is the guy who did January 6th, so that's never going to happen. It's fun to think about, but no, he's just gonna stay in office, right? Like that's what he's gonna do. He's just gonna try to stay in office. I thought he also sort of like preempted the reflexive sort of right wing. Oh, he's probably joking. Response. Quote. He's not joking about considering a third presidential term.
Yeah, but you could say I'm not joking, but still be joking.
Yeah, when he says I'm not joking, that's the joke, dude. The joke is that he's not.
Joke. The devil's delight.
Yeah, no, I think he's still joking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He says, I mean, you know, nothing he says is anyway. Yeah, Trump says shit.
He likes working. That's why he wants to stay in office.
That's true. Yeah, he is dedicated. He's the only one who can save us. So, yeah, no. Whether or not you think Donald Trump is good at his job, I was kind of curious to get your takes on a few different professions, and basically this this idea of skill versus luck, and I think I see. I feel like there's this problem where, well, yeah, as someone who's never been particularly professionally successful, I always attribute that to bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed that everybody who is successful attributes it to skill, or many of them. It's going around. And yeah, I would venture to say that there's probably a little bit of both. And I think that in some endeavors, the balance is probably different. And I just kind of wanted I thought of a couple of professions, and I'm wondering if you guys could give me your takes.
Okay.
Okay, so before you get into it, this is sort of like I'm a Magic the Gathering player, and there's this like design principle that they operate on, where like it's important to like remember that it's not like a luck skill like continuum. It's like you can have more luck and more skill, right? Like you can do both. Like like poker is like a high luck, like medium skill game, for example. Or
Interesting.
yeah, you could
Or
be
it's just
very skillful at it.
As opposed to like roulette, then, which is like high
Luck,
low
no skill, or low
Right.
skill.
Yeah, I think that poker is very high. It's just that you need a large sample size for it to actually prove. But anyway, but there we go. So this is exactly why I wanted your guys' opinion, because we feel differently about these things. Like, I already have my opinions on these. But yeah, Magic the So actually, well, let's start with that. So like, Magic the Gathering. Is there any profession related to? Are there people?
They're
who pay their
professional
bills?
players.
Got it. So Magic the Gathering Pro, like, you guys are both like proficient Magic players, I guess, or like I don't know how good you are, but are there
Played
ELO
for a long
ratings?
time.
Are there
We're
ELO
not
ratings
rated or
in Magic?
anything. No, it's pretty ramshackle. Their whole like ranking system, and
So like,
we're not like
oh, okay.
pros.
So if you played 100 games against this best ever player, how many would you win?
That's a good question.
Maybe like 20, probably.
I don't know. Like, who are you referring to? Is this Finkel?
John Finkel, right?
Yeah, Finkel at his like highest win rate, it was like, yeah. So I guess it would be like 20 to 30%, right? Like,
Is what you would win
yeah,
against him? Okay, and then like the second best player in the world at the time would win 45.
yeah, something like that.
Something like that. All right, so yeah, so there's still then I guess a substantial luck component to that game.
Definitely.
If a player who's just way worse can win 30% of the time.
Yeah, it's a card game. If they come up in a certain order, like you just can't win certain games.
Like, I would never win hockey against Wayne Gretzky at his best, or,
Exactly.
I would never beat one-on-one basketball Michael Jordan at his best,
There you go. So that was my next profession, was basketball player, or like NBA player. How much luck is there in being a professional basketball player?
I think that's an
Depends
interesting
on whether you
question.
count as being born tall. Does that count as being lucky? Or
Yeah,
I think skill, in some sense, skill is just like luck earlier. Like, so let's just say that like whatever, because whatever, good genes,
Yeah,
or like
yeah,
born to a rich
yeah. Skill is
family, so
luck
you got a good
earlier.
education or whatever it is. But yeah, so let's say like in the day to day, they are not getting lucky by being tall. Like they're already there. Oh, maybe I'm misunderstanding the question.
it was your question.
No, your question about being tall.
Is that luck?
Sure, like, okay, he was born tall, but given that they're already tall, so anyway, yes, being tall is not skill. I'll
Seems
give you
lucky
that.
to me.
It seems lucky day in and day out. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you need to like fly on an airplane, then you
So
don't feel
you're
so lucky.
you're asking two really nerdy guys who just told you about how they play Magic. Now you're asking them about basketball and expecting them to have a good opinion, dude.
No, but this one is fun. Well, no, sorry, I think I'm getting thrown because like, okay, when I thought of that one, this was to me the like number one like skill one that I could come up with. I was just like, LeBron is the best or whatever over the last like 20 years. Like, he is not the luckiest, he's the best. Like his results in basketball are because of his, yes, like whatever, superior genetics, and whatever work ethic and and all of that. But it's all come together in a package of just insane skill. Where someone who's worse is just totally useless
Okay.
against.
That makes sense, but I'm peeking at your list here, and I saw politician, and I think that like I would consider politician to be a higher luck like version of basketball, but it's like the luck that you experience as a politician is like world events and like things that your political opposition does. So the same kind of applies to a basketball player. Like if you're LeBron James and Kevin Durant gets sick when you're about to face his team, then that's like lucky for you, you know. So there is an element of like world events or basketball specific related events that are out of your hands as an individual. Like that's where the luck comes into it.
Yeah, that's true, man. You get drafted into the wrong team, the culture stinks, and you just like aren't motivated to even try hard or whatever. You're on the bench or you get injured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or just like you stub your toe in the morning. That wasn't like a skill issue necessarily. You know, that's or I don't know. It's somewhere on that spectrum, maybe.
Man, I think it's all just like devolving into like it's all luck. Oh man. Okay.
Okay, so this is like a really simple question. All we need to know is we need to determine if the universe is deterministic or not. Then we can answer the question about how lucky you need to be to play basketball.
That's yes, true. But anyway, we'll save that as an exercise for the listeners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
please write in.
Just yeah. But so like acting, or I guess like maybe then to rephrase the question is like the people who are in all these movies, are they the best actors or are they the best connected? Are they the most lucky? So movies. Maybe let me put it this way: do you think that the actors who are in all of our movies are good actors? The actors who you see over and over.
I don't know. I mean, I feel
Mostly?
like the way you ask that makes it seem like you want to say no. I think like mostly, yeah. Good at the job.
Okay, but so, Phil, you were at a community theater event the other week.
Yeah.
How did those actors who are not famous compare to famous actors in their acting skill?
These children?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, I think they're very good for their age. And they worked really hard, and they did a great job. And they are not Tom Cruise? Like, of course they're not. Like, they're, I don't know, a weird example of a great actor, but certainly a compelling stage presence, screen presence. You know what I mean.
Totally. I like Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise kicks ass, by the way. And my answer is not really that, like, yeah, I don't know. Okay, I don't really know on that one. Okay, business. Let's say big business, specifically. Like, people are billionairehood through entrepreneurship, let's say. How much of that is lucky skill?
I can answer this definitively. I like the people involved with it a lot less, so I'm going to say lower skill.
There you go.
Are we getting down to some of the things that you're thinking about here?
I was kind of thinking about a couple examples of this, and like, one is Mark Zuckerberg,
Mm-hmm.
And another is Elon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Mark Zuckerberg, like as a kid who knew nothing about business, started a business that was insanely successful and like maintained like really large equity in that business, like tons of ownership of that business, and is like I think the second most wealthy American or person in the world or something. Mm-hmm. And so that one feels to me like simply by sample size and also just by like judging, like looking at his judgment. I mean, he's also like, of his other like ventures, like within that, like switching to the metaverse, both is just like insane and terrible and nobody wants this, but also like was kind of a giant flop. And then they're like, oh yeah, actually we're an AI company. And so whatever, it all works. So anyway, he seems like a little more on the luck side. Elon, even though he's richer, he has had a lot of successful businesses. Like he's also had plenty of flops, but I feel like there's basically no way that Elon is a business moron. Like I think like he basically must be like very good at something in business.
He's an excellent hype person.
Definitely good at the hype. But like yeah, even like so yeah, he had this company he started with his brother. Like they were basically making like a Yellow Pages. Like they sold that for like hundreds of millions of dollars, and he was in his 20s. And then they did another one, and then another one, and then another one. He's had like right now he's got like 3 businesses worth more than $10 billion or 4, or who knows. Anyway,
Well, sure, but like he's like in the process of tanking them, right? Like Tesla, and I could think probably SpaceX is probably doing better, but like Tesla and Twitter are like going down the tubes.
yeah, I mean that's fair. Like, and yeah, so maybe that's just like okay, some counts against him, but like in term, it also seems like I mean, he didn't probably buy Twitter for profit. I think he bought Twitter for propaganda, for political power. Like once you have all the money, it's like now you need to convert it into other kinds of things you want. So that's what it seemed like to me. Right, and I mean it's this like survivorship bias kind of thing, right? Like how whenever we're looking at billionaires, we're like, oh well, what did they do? I want to do what they did, and it's like, well, yeah, maybe they just flipped coins and came up heads. And
Right place, right time, right idea.
tune in next week. More info, more hazards. Thanks everybody for listening. Catch you next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.